This is the foundation inspection. We have a quarter pop here, very common, nothing to worry about. What can be done is parged around the area just to lock it in place, because it can fall out, it's quite ugly. But it's a common occurrence, quarter pops. Happens at corners because they're stress concentrators. Going into the rear yard, we've just looked at the right hand elevation. You can see there's a little bit of erosion here that needs to be refilled in. It's caused by the gutter downpipes. What you want to do is gutter downpipe extensions on. It costs about $5 to $6, that's all, not a lot. Now at the rear, we're now at the rear elevation. And we have a post-tension cable end showing here, right down at the edge, right here. It needs to be covered over with a waterproof mortar. It's called parging. Now, to give you an idea of what parging is, this area here on the foundation's been parged, and you've got a crack appearing in it. It could actually be in the foundation as well, not likely, but cracks in foundation are common. They occur shortly after the foundation's been laid. There's another one here, but I think it's the parge that's showing the cracking. But if you were to parge this whole area along here, because you'll have enough waterproof cement to do it when you buy it from the Home Depot, that would cover it up. Look good. We're now located at the left-hand elevation. Again, looking at the foundation. Now we're at the front elevation here, and we've got issues with the bushes on the edge here. This is a grade inspection. As I mentioned this in the foundation, issues with the bushes. Plants up against the building are poor for really bad for a number of things. First thing is they're going to allow insects to get onto your house, and you don't want that, and mice and rats and stuff like that. Also, they damage the brickwork. This climbing vine here will damage the brickwork. You want to get rid of that completely. Also, when you're inspecting it, home inspector is going to call it out and say not visible because of vegetation. So you want to cut this back and remove it completely. And it's very simple. Cut back these bushes here, so you've got about 10-inch space. Cut them back here, you've got a 10-inch space, and cut back, obviously, with the plant here, so you've got a lot of space between the plant and the actual house itself. And do that likewise in this corner here. In fact, I would recommend that these trees and bushes here are taken out, because they remove moisture from the soils and it can cause damage to the foundation because the foundation moves. See, I can't see the foundation here because of the vegetation. So, yeah, highly recommend you get rid of this vegetation completely. It's a bit of yard work, but it's going to pay dividends. I hate this stuff. This is a grading inspection. We've got a nice slope away from the grade here. Likewise here, swale in the middle. Good news. And we have good grading at the front elevation. Let's go look at the right and the rear elevation. Here we are at the right elevation. Again, the grading's good. All we're looking for is sloping away. Mentioned this already, you want to put extension pipes on your downpipes. And then in the back, we've got a slope away from the house. We've got a swale here. It's going to drain in this direction, out of the yard. We have a roof vent here, and it's right next to a flue. Now the problem with that is, under certain weather conditions, the flue gases can get sucked back into the attic, and so the solution is to put an extension of that flue, and it's done inside. You just push it up through the roof, and that will extend it up above the roof line and remove it as a problem. The flashing around this vent here has lifted. That needs to be now back in place, and there's a small possibility, in the condition as it is at the moment, that water can get into the attic. I'd say it's small, it is a possibility. I'm at the rear elevation, and you can see here a trim board has popped and the corking's come away. It's opened up a gap. That gap's big enough for a mouse to get in. So you want to get that recorked. That will seal it and stop any rodents or vermin getting inside the building. Standing at the front elevation, to the right of the garage door, and you've got a small settlement crack appearing here, and then we've got a settlement crack in the corking running down the actual door trim, and it needs to be recorked. Also got a bit of a crack appearing here along the actual brickwork itself. It's running from here all the way along. Now there is reason for that, in my opinion. It's going to be the missing weep holes. There should be weep holes every 3 to 4 bricks along here that allow the water to evaporate out, and so it doesn't rust. As it is at the moment, with the current situation, it will cause the whole area to rust. Now here we've got a crack in the mortar and the brickwork. It's running up to the actual roof line, and that indicates some common settlement occurring at this area here. So let's move back. We've got common settlement in this area here, and you can see with cracks in the brickwork over the apex of the door, and there's cracks here. This is the attic inspection. What we're looking at here is the vent for the dryer, and you can see it's got some duct tape wrapped around it, and it's coming apart. And you can also see there's lint in it. Now that can be a major cause of fire. So what we want to do is take that apart, remove all the duct tape, and you can get a special tape. You can see it down here, right from the Home Depot or Lowe's, and you can join the two together. But you should have an uninterrupted curve here, so that any of the link coming up hasn't got something to stick to, because if it sticks to it, it will cause it to build up and then block it, and that can cause a fire. Yeah, so that needs to be taken apart and reassembled. I'm standing at the top of the stairs, and what we find as we come up the top here is that there's no service boards right at the top. Now it's required that as you come up these steps, you're supposed to have a service board you can step off onto. Very simple, 3/4 inch ply or particle board, and you can fix it in here and along here. Just cover it up. Probably the best thing is to buy yourself some ply, and you cover up this area here with the boarding, and you cover this area with the boarding, and it will be perfect. Now, there's not access to the other attic. It's very simple to get access. This gap above us here is a crawl space, and all you really need to do is to put an improvised ladder up the side, and you can literally make the rungs of the ladder crossing over the studs. But you put an improvised ladder up there, and that allows crawl space access to that area, which would take you to the other part of the attic. Now, you're not going to grow there, I know, but all it requires is you've got access, and by putting that simple ladder in, which you can do by 2x4, buy yourself an 8 foot of 2x4, maybe a bit longer, measure it up, and then you can put in a number of rungs that allow somebody to climb up and then get it onto the top of those joists there, that would then allow them to cross over to the attic on the other side. This is the yard door, and you can see we're starting to get a little bit of deterioration in the door. Well, believe it or not, that's caused because the door trim actually comes down and it touches the threshold here. As a result, water gets in, it wicks up. Really what should be here, this should be just cut back. Simply cut back so that it doesn't actually touch. Like here, it's not touching the concrete, and it shouldn't touch here, and certainly not there, and that's true on this side here. You've got a bit of caulking here, and again, the caulking doesn't help. It's going to allow water to actually wick up. So you've got two choices at this stage. Simple, cut it back, a bit more work to do. The other thing is to remove the existing caulking, recork it and paint it, and it will look okay. It could still get called out by a home inspector, but it's very unlikely. I'm standing at the rear elevation. There's the yard door, and here we have a settlement crack. It's making its way down to this roof line here. At the same time, the roof here is showing signs of moving away from the actual roof line itself. So you've got a crack coming down here, and up here you can see the window is starting to move, and the window and this side of the property is moving in this direction. So we've got settlement, I know, on the front right elevation, and we have some settlement too here on the rear left elevation. Here we've got common settlement shown in the brickwork. Got a couple of control wires going through the cabinetry of the heater and furnace and AC unit, and there should be a grommet in there. There's not. Now, to see the type of thing that should be in there, you only have to go and look at your other furnace over the other side here. When I get here, you can see that there's a grommet there, and that protects it, stops it from being cut by the cabinet, the metal cabinet. Left as it is at the moment, it will cut through there, and that will short circuit in some time and destroy the control circuit. This is compressors running on the AC unit. It's water heater inspection. It's currently fired up and the burning in there. Gas supply. Okay. I'm going to look at the vent hood. Vent hood is fine, but the temperature pressure release valve is inaccessible. It works. I don't like the way it's stuck behind a flue. Let's go and have a look at the termination for the drain line. Drain line here, yep.